guys, we're back with another setup around the Red Bull Ring, driving this time the SCG003. This is another car that you can use within the GT3 class, and it's a car that actually surprised me a bit. I've only ever driven it on a special event once, and it hit quite a good time around Spa on that. I remember at the time being quite surprised, and I've never ever gone back to it, and it's not really a car used that much, and considering how well it drives, I'm quite surprised. I think the issue that a lot of people have is you have to brake a little bit earlier in this compared to some of the other GT3 cars, but the speed you're carrying is quite a bit faster, to be honest, because you can run lower downforce with this car and still maintain quite good handling, in my view. I actually think this car is going to be just as good as the new Ferrari, the McLaren 650S, and any other top tier car, as it seems to handle just as well as any of them, and it actually probably has a little bit more top end. So it's going to be a good car for this track, as people will find it very hard to overtake if it's driven well. Fair enough, you have to brake a little bit early, but if you're pulling away that much on the straights, then you should be safe. I haven't compared it exactly on the top speed compared to the other cars. Maybe that's something we'll do in another video. I'm still trying to work out how to use this editing software, so I may try and do some lap comparisons with cars and see where other cars gain over other cars. It might be quite interesting to see for setups. One issue with this car, which I did encounter, was with the gearbox. You can't alter individual gears, you have preset final gears. So some tracks you might find it just can't find the best gears. I mean, this track was a little bit too high on the gearing, but it didn't really cost me much because I altered other stuff. So what we'll do now is we'll have a little look at the setup. As you can see there, we've changed just a few. I think the brake bias might have been very slightly changed, nothing drastic. Aero has been reduced quite a bit on this setup. I actually went down to 0.3 on the aero, which it does cause you a bit of issues in the braking in terms of distance, but it's still stable on the braking, so just bear it in mind. You will need to brake earlier, which we will go through when we watch the lap in a minute. I'll point out that you'll see the difference from the Ferrari lap. With the drivetrain, I just kept it as usual. We were running the weakest traction control setting again. I did try it off and it felt very good with it off as well. So 0.3 downforce and then 1060 on the drivetrain felt really nice. It felt fine for this car, so you can't actually change any individual gears. So that is one problem with the car, which might affect certain tracks, but it'll be interesting to see. We did change the rear cambers as well quite a bit there, as you can see. We changed the toe angles to give us more stability as usual on the rear for a base setup, and we upped the front roll bar slightly just to make it a bit better over the curbs, keeping the rear obviously low, just to make sure that over that final corner where you can attack that curb, it just stays a bit more steady, because it was kicking out slightly. We also made a few alterations within the damper settings. So what we'll do now is we'll go through to the lap. Okay, so we're going to start our lap, getting a nice clean exit from the final corner, and we're going to be looking to go into 6th gear just with a foot round the start finish line there. We're going into 6th gear, we're going to brake down very early. You'll see we'll brake before the 100, quite a bit before going down into 3rd gear, hitting the curb on the right and then slowly feeding that power through on the exit there. At this point we're actually running okay there on the lap. I think I always use a guideline on there's a line across the track, and we're actually running quite fast compared to the Ferrari lap. You can see the top speed we're going to be building now is slightly more than the other cars, and we have to brake a little bit earlier because of that extra speed. And you can see there we actually should have braked a little bit later. We ran onto the curb on the exit, but we didn't actually lose that much time because we managed to get the power down really early. Now again, looking out for the 100 on the left again, we're going to brake a bit before it is compared to the Ferrari lap. You'll see now we're braking there nice and early, getting down into 2nd gear, getting the car in onto that curb and on the power there. Kind of a bit early on the power, back end went a little bit loose, maybe lost a 10th, not too sure, maybe a 10th or so. Going into 5th gear and then braking again into 4th gear just before the 50. We can actually brake pretty close to where we was with the Ferrari because the rear stays a bit more stable with this car. Getting on the power earlier as well, you can really carry some speed through these corners with this car. You see there, 4th gear, just be careful with this car, it doesn't understeer wide there, you just have to be careful on the throttle. Going into 5th gear, and then again we're going to look out in between 150, braking down into 4th gear and chucking it in, and you can really put the power down through this corner. It just grips and bites with this setup. And then into the last corner you can attack this curb again in 3rd gear, you see there, and it doesn't run wide as much as some of the other cars. It stays within the track margins a lot easier, this car, which makes me think we can push this probably a bit faster than the Ferrari in my view. But there's a quick lap and a guide for you guys. Hope this setup has helped you out. And remember, I will be back with more setups soon, and thanks for watching. Make sure you click that like button again and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Thanks again, guys.